Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet, and we have another Transformers review coming your way, and I hope you are ready to dare to be stupid, because this time around we're going to be taking a look at the Studio Series 8609 Wreck-Gar as we saw him from Transformers the movie. So as we always do, let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging first, and we'll bring that in. You've got some nice Wreck-Gar artwork right there, Studio Series, Transformers the movie. Over here on the side, you have some nice Wreck-Gar artwork. On the back, you have your product shots, and it is big screen inspired. It is the Junkion dance party, and Wreck-Gar and the Junkions join the Autobots after exchanging the universal greeting, Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Bong. And there's a backdrop included. And down here, you have all your warnings, and you have the Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Baby. On the side, he's 8609, and you have the note down there that he is Voyager-class. Up top, Transformers movie. Down low, manufacturing information. So that is it for the outside of the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a look at what came in that box. Alright, gang, so what you see before you is everything that came in that box, and we'll start as we always do with your little sheet of warnings. I feel safer already. And you get the instructions. And then his three main accessories. He gets his really cool spinny axe blade of death, which is awesome, and I must say it spins wonderfully. This could keep me occupied for a good hour. I could just sit here and spin it all day. Looks great. Now, it is a little stubby. I would have liked to have had it be a little bit longer, but for the most part, I think it's a good weapon. So it's pretty basic as far as molding. There's no paint apps on there or anything, but man, does it spin. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, speaking of spinning, he also comes with two wheels. Now, these wheels don't spin as well as his spinny blade of death does, but hey, they still spin. So there you go. And then his second wheel. Now, these two are the same thing, so let's take a look at the details on this one. And you can see you do have some good molding going on in there. You've got that nice, I don't know, what it like almost like a neon yellow, almost green rim. And then, of course, you have the red spikes out here. And when we get him into motorcycle mode, we'll see how those play in, because it's kind of fun to roll him, because he sounds like a motorcycle because of these. So that's always fun, too. And this wheel spins pretty good, I think. So, yeah, there you go. All right. And then, of course, the last thing that he comes with is the display base right here. And this is the backdrop of Junkion. So he should feel right at home because, hey, it's home. So there you go. That's everything that came in the box other than Wreck-Gar himself. So what we'll do now is we'll just bring him on in for his close-up, and we'll look at those details and take a look at his articulation. All right, so here he is, the main man, the head honcho, Mr. Wreck-Gar himself. So let's bring him on in for that close-up, and we'll start, of course, with that head. And yeah, that's definitely Wreck-Gar. All the way through. I like what they've done here with the not only just the face sculpt, but also the little touches on the side. I think that looks pretty good. And you come down a little bit, and yeah, sure enough, he has chest guns. And who amongst us wouldn't want a nice set of chest guns? So yeah, you can move those around if you want, and I don't know if you want to get him a little wonky, feel free to do so. There are so many jokes that I can make right now that I'm not going to, but wow, wherever he is, it must be cold. Anyway, there's a little bit of sculpt work in there. Not a lot, but what is in there, I think, looks really good on him. And this figure, in my opinion, I think this figure turned out looking really good. So come down here to the crotch. And a little bit of molded in detail there as well. And the color scheme, I think what they did here on the colors on Wreck-Gar, I think it came out looking fantastic. And, this color is a little bit different than the reds out here or the red in the chest, and it works. I mean, between these, really light reds, almost pinks, the browns, the grays. Yeah, I mean, he's a Junkion through and through for sure. And come down here to those feet, and even the feet are two-toned, and we'll see this in the articulation, but, that's kind of that separating line where his ankle tilts at. And come over here and look at this side. Good detail there. And of course he does have some effects ports, so you can have some effects fun there. And these are not a soft rubber. This is actually a harder plastic. Now, it's not hard enough or sharp enough to hurt somebody, but you know, they're definitely not like a soft safety rubber. So that's nice to see too. So these things aren't going to deform too much on you. And I really enjoy the touch that they made the saddlebags his hip skirts. And you know, it helps, of course, that you know that these come out. So we again get to the articulation when he brings his leg out. But I think it just looks cool that he's got these saddlebags right there. It's almost like a utility belt. So I think that works really well. So that was a good design intent there, good choice. Then you get up here into the side, and I like what they've done here as well. There's really no, as far as the center of the body goes, there's no hollow areas here. They filled it all in nicely, and of course, with this engine look right there, that just really sets it off. I like what they've done here with the design choices on this guy. And you get to these arms. Now you do have a hollow area right here. This is where the fist folds in for transformation. I would have liked to have seen them put a panel on, you know, something like what they've done with the Kingdom or Earthrise Optimus Prime, you know, just something to fill that hollow area. But they're going for a Voyager price point here, so a majority of the engineering on this figure is really good. So you know, this is just kind of a cost-saving measure here. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it definitely it doesn't detract from him. And looking at the rest of the arms, paint apps there I think look pretty good, and you've got more of these spikes up here. And turning him around to the back, this is where I really, really appreciate this figure. So I'm just going to get my hands out of the way for a second. He's a motorcycle, but there's not a whole lot of motorcycle kibble anywhere. He has a little bit of a backpack right there, but it looks good. Yeah, I mean, there's a part forming aspect of it where, you know, the wheels, they're separate from him, but is it really parts forming? Because I mean, it's pretty easy to take wheels and tires off of, you know, at least particularly the front of a motorcycle or a bicycle. So I could see that in the realm of possibility. So I think he cleans up really, really nicely here. And you've got the little touches here with the flames, and we'll see this in the motorcycle mode as well, but he's got the little gas cap there. And then some nice molded in detail on the back. He does have, we'll see this in articulation, he does have ratcheted hips and ratcheted knees. And he does get a little bit hollow here, but this is due to the transformation of the feet. So the feet angle in like that, so they have to have somewhere to go. But yeah, overall, I think the overall aesthetic, the overall look of this figure, it's really good. I'm really happy with what they've done here for a mainline Voyager. So, you know, continuing that trend, let's go ahead and get into the articulation and, you know, see just how posable this guy is. So starting up here with the head, there's something that I want to point out. This may just be my copy. This may be all the copies. I don't know. I discovered this during transformation. His face comes off really, really easily, and it's kind of creepy. It's even more creepy. I'm sorry, I have to do this because it's funny. So you can also take his eyes out, so he's hollow. But if you take his face out, so you can just pop this face out as well, and skip over this if you want. But this tickles me. So you can put his eyes back in, so you just have his eyes like that. And if you put his face back on with just his eyes, I don't know why that. I don't know. It makes me laugh. Oh! So just scream. Oh! So I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the only one that finds humor in that. But anyway, that's not really part of the articulation. But in handling him, if his face comes off, then you'll know why. So it's probably not something that's supposed to happen. But I like to think of it as a bonus feature. So we'll stick his face back on, and we'll put his eyes back on, and there you go. So we'll put that back on. Okay, there you go. So we got his head back on. Now, as far as the head articulation, he can look up a little bit, he can look down a little bit, he can go sort of side to side, and he can turn all the way around if you choose to do so. And as we noticed before, you can articulate his chest cannons if you want to. And here at the shoulders will go up that far, which is very nice. And it does have this filled in area, so you don't get a hollow area down here underneath. Very much appreciated. This is a nice touch. So you can go all the way around with them, and at the elbow you do get 90 degrees of elbow bend, and you do get bicep rotation. Then down here at the hands, you do get wrist rotation, and due to transformation, you can also get a little bit of wrist tilt down. You can't get anything up, but you can get wrist tilt down. So down here at the waist, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is part of the transformation, but I still appreciate it. So you get waist rotation. And then you get an ab crunch. So you can ab crunch this guy. Now, this is the part where I say I'm pretty sure it's because of the transformation, but you can absolutely positively, if I had him balanced, you can absolutely positively ab crunch this guy. So it's awesome. And that just looks like a fun dance move. But anyway, yeah, so waist rotation, ab crunch, very nice. And then down here at the hips, if you move his saddlebags out of the way, you can get, these are ratcheted, so these are just not just on pins, you actually have ratchets down here. So you can get a Van Damme, and as somebody who enjoys Earth culture, I'm sure that Wreck-Gar would very much appreciate knowing that he can get a full Van Damme. So that's pretty Van Damme awesome. And then he can kick forward that far, he can kick backward that far. So great range of motion in those hips. And then you do have thigh rotation, so you can take those any direction you want to go. And due to transformation at the knees, you can bring his legs forward if you want to give him a freaky chicken leg kind of look. And they'll bend just under 90 backwards. Down here at the feet, you can take the feet back that far. You can take them forward that far. And then you get ankle tilt about that much, and they've done their best here to fill that out. So if you don't have extreme ankle tilt, if you do it maybe about right there, then that looks filled out. So that's appreciated, those little touches like that. So, you know, whoever did the designing for this figure, I think took care to do everything that they could to bring us a nice mainline Voyager-class Wreck-Gar that has a lot of really good articulation and great attention to detail. So job well done on the design and the engineering for this figure. So let's go ahead and get into the accessories. We'll bring the accessories in and we'll talk a little bit about effects. Okay guys, so here we see Wreck-Gar with his accessories, and yeah, he is effects compatible, and as far as I'm concerned, he is effects compatible in all the right places. So it's so immature. I know it is, but come on. He's he's firing from his chest guns. I know I'm a child, but it tickles me. It makes me laugh. So yeah, he does have the effects compatibility there. So if you wanted to use those effects, you certainly could. And then he does have a couple of effects ports down here on his legs, so you can use that as well. And then he does have the effects ports on the bottoms of his feet, so you can have a super-duper flying Wreck-Gar if you wanted to do that. So he does have effects compatibility. It's not a lot, but like I said, it's all in the right places. Now, as far as his accessories go in robot mode, per the instructions, this is how the instructions laid it out, to have one wheel up on this spike and to have another wheel down here on the spike. But of course, if you pick him up, he is all yours, and you can choose to do with him whatever you want to do. So you could put these in any combination of the spikes, but they do have this larger recessed area right there that fits nicely for the hub. So, you know, it doesn't matter either side. If you want to put it on both legs, you know, feel free to do so. It's certainly something that you could do if I could line that up. And, you know, just give it a squeeze, and then he's got wheels on both of his legs. So totally up to you. And then, of course, he does hold his spinny axe of death. And if you wanted to store this, see, I just can't help myself, guys. I just want to spin it and spin it and spin it. But, you know, if you do want to store this, he does have weapon storage available on the back. So you've got this tiny port right there that goes to this tiny peg right there. And you just line them up and plug them in. Now, the one thing that I've noticed is it's not the most secure thing in the world. It'll hold on well enough, but if you're like me and you sit here and you just start playing with that and spinning it, it could come loose. So be aware if you're going to use this for weapon storage, be aware that this does come out pretty easily, and just keep that in mind so you don't lose his weapon. Same goes for motorcycle mode. So when he's in motorcycle mode, you know, he's going to use this port right here, and it's the same deal. So, you know, it fits and it holds okay, but it doesn't take a lot for it to wiggle and come out. So just something to be aware of. All right, so that is the accessories. So let's go ahead and get into transformation and turn this guy into his motorcycle alt mode. So transformation's not real bad on this guy. It's kind of beautiful in its simplicity. Just a few tricky spots. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to want to take those arms, lift those arms up, and tuck your fists away. So just take those fists, tuck them in right there like that. Do the same thing right here. Then you're going to take these forearms and you're going to turn them 90 degrees so the fists are facing the outside. So do the same thing over here. And once you've done that, then what you can do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to split this upper body. So just grab it right here at the chest and open him up. And then when you do, this is similar to Cyclonus. So he's got two pivot points down here. So you're going to bring this forward and you're also going to bring this forward. So that opens him up and exposes this. Now your next step is to take the windshield out. What I've found, the easiest way to take the windshield out is if you get your finger, this is on a hinge and it'll open up a little bit. If you get your finger under there and just give that a little bit of a pull, that will open it up. Apologies if I shook my camera, but that will pop this out, and then you can bring this all the way back like that. So that's how it's going to sit in the motorcycle mode. Once you've done that, then down here at this, the ab crunch, give this a pull, and you're going to bring all of this forward like that. Okay, and then you're going to have sitting right there, and hopefully you can kind of see, like, this front of the motorcycle, this is the gas tank, so on and so forth. So once you have all of this stretched out, turn your attention down here. So into this hollow area, you're actually going to take Wreck-Gar's head and you're going to tuck it away up here in this. So give that a little bit of a tilt, and then start pushing down here and push the head up until you get it in there, and then kind of push on this hinge right there. And I'm going to move the arms out of the way because I'm going to show you. You're going to end up, it's going to have a gap right here, but you'll know you're good when the angle of this surface is flush with the angle of this surface. So once you have him pushed up like that, you know that you're in good. This is the right position. After you've done that, now you can take these arms. I'm going to put this arm back in the right position. You're going to take these arms and you're going to swing them in. So what we're going to do here is you have these tabs. They're going to line up to the slots right there on either arm. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take a wheel, and we're going to need to put a wheel and push it through on these. So it doesn't matter which arm you use. Pick one of your arms and plug the wheel in on that hub. It's kind of hard to do with the camera in front of me. And squeeze that in. So now when you bring these arms in, you're going to line those two up, give that a squeeze, and now you've got your wheel locked in place, and now you can turn your attention to these slots up here. So now you're just going to line those up, give those slots a push on either side, and keep your arms straight. And now you have the front of the motorcycle completed. So now you're just going to concentrate on working on the back of the motorcycle. So what you're going to do back here is you're going to take these feet and you're going to push those feet down like that. And you're going to grab your other wheel and you're going to tuck that wheel in to these ports right here and that one right there. So take that wheel, squeeze it into that port, bring this leg over, give that a squeeze. And once you've done that, Now you're going to bring these legs, so this seat needs to be up like that, and then you're going to bring these legs at the knee, you're going to bend those forward, and then you're going to tuck you have these tabs right here, you're going to tuck these tabs into the slots on his toes. So you're going to bring those legs forward until you can get those lined up, and I'm trying to do my best here to make sure this all gets captured on camera, so bear with me. Doing what I can here. So make sure you're angled like that, and give that a squeeze over here. Give this a squeeze over here, and then you're kind of in cleanup mode now, so just straighten your seat out, make sure that looks good. Make sure your front arms are straight for the forks, and yeah, I think we've got everything lined up. So the last couple steps are to bring these out. These are his little kickstands. This is what keeps him balanced. So bring those out, and then you can set him down, and then you're going to take the little spinny murder wheel, and you're going to bring it back here, and you're going to tuck it in to that little port right there. Give it a squeeze, and however you want to angle it is however you want to angle it. This is just my preference. Just have it like that, and there you have Wreck-Gar. Oh, make sure you have your handles pushed up too. There you go. Now he's ready. And there you have Wreck-Gar in his motorcycle mode. And this is a cool motorcycle mode. I really dig this. This is so cool. It's a simple design. It's an easy transformation, but it's just Wreck-Gar. It just looks awesome, and it's the more I play with this figure, the more I like it. So I think this is just fantastic. And what I mentioned earlier, if you push these kickstands down and you want to make him sound like a motorcycle, well, he doesn't roll very well on this material. Let me do this. A little bit of friction. Uh-oh, spinny murder wheel came off. Well, there you go. He even makes motorcycle noises, so you don't have to do it yourself. He comes with built-in motorcycle noises. So there you go. Let me get his kickstand back down, move those instructions out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead and bring him in for his details and get a close-up of him. So there we have the front, and again, his chest cannons. They are now the front of the motorcycle cannons, and you can angle those any way you want. And there's the side of the vehicle. I think he looks great. And there he is from the back. And even the little attention to detail here, the back of his head is the gauge cluster for the motorcycle. So very well done. Very well done. Yeah, so there he is in his motorcycle mode. There he is from the bottom. So he's essentially just all origamied up, but I think it works really well. And, he's got spinny wheels. It's always fun. So, yeah, there you go. So what we'll do is we will, well, I'll just do it now. Let's go ahead and talk about the effects in this mode. So, because there's just simply not a lot. I mean, you can do the same thing that you did in robot mode, essentially, is, you can give him the, well, if I can squeeze them on there. I'm not going to do both of them, but just do the one. So you can give him the blast effects on his cannon and his chest cannons, and then you do have the ability where you can give him some kind of an effect right there. So, and I haven't bothered to check if nothing's going to fit in that. That would have been cool. That's just a screw hole. But yeah, so he does have, a little bit of effects compatibility. So if you want to do something like that, there you go. All right, so what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll bring in some comparisons, and we'll see how he stacks up against some of the other figures. All right, so for our first vehicle mode comparison, here we have the Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar next to the Power of the Primes Wreck-Gar. Next up is the Transformers Prime RC in her motorcycle mode. And for that Studio Series 86 comparison, here he is next to the Studio Series 86 Blur. And yeah, either Wreck-Gar is a ginormous motorcycle or Blur is a really tiny car. Take your pick. And unfortunately, I do not have a G1 Wreck-Gar, so my G1 comparison is going to be the G1 Blur, since we saw the Studio Series 86 Blur, so there you go. Next up is the Bayverse RC, and yeah, she never transforms into her robot mode. Her motorcycle mode is all she knows now, but there she is. And just because I wanted to show him a little bit of love and give him some camera time, here is the Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar next to the Alternator's skids. And our last comparison, just for fun, here's the Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar next to a Lego Harley Quinn motorcycle. Alright, that's it for the alt mode comparison, so let's go ahead and get back into transformation and get him back into his robot mode. So getting Wreck-Gar back into his robot mode really isn't all that bad. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will start by removing his weapon and just put that off to the side. Now you can come down here to these foot pegs on either side right here and just give those a little gentle tug and pull those off like that. That's going to release all of this back here. Once you've done that, now you can just give these legs a little bit of a pull and pull that out and carefully remove that tire, and now you can put that off to the side. While you're down here, you can go ahead and move those feet. That way you have those positioned. Straighten his legs out, because we'll take advantage of that here in a second and just be able to stand him up. If you have these the gear out, the kickstands, just go ahead and push those in. And ultimately you're going to want the legs oriented like that, so the saddlebags are pointed down like that. So we're just going to leave it that way. And then we're going to come down here or up here to the arms. We're going to give those arms a gentle pull and pull those tabs out on either side. And when we do that, we're going to pull right here. And we're going to take that wheel out as well. And we're just going to put that off to the side. And then once you've done that, now you can, well, as you can see, you're just going to open these arms up like that. And once you've done that, now you can pull this assembly. I'm trying to find the best view for you. I think it's probably just going to be just like that. So you can just pull this assembly down and out like that. So now you've pretty much just got him all kinds of exploded. What you can do now is on the back here you have this tab and that slot. So you're just going to lift up, you have a pin right here or point of rotation. So you're going to bring that up like that. And then you're going to swing this down until it collapses in right there. So then that's going to form that waist and that ab crunch. So pull this back out of your way. Oh, there goes his face. We'll put his face back on here in a second. And now what you're going to want to do is you need to accordion all of this back in this area, and you're going to want to do that before you push this in. So this is going to rest back there. But what you want to do is get this accordioned in, and what helps me is I align the chest to this neck piece right here. So I'm going to rotate that chest so everything's sitting flush like that. So that helps me have a really good view when I bring this up of knowing how I should have everything tucked away, because you have these slots back here as well that are going to tuck into these arms. So I know that when I have it about like that, I know I have everything inside here tucked away as it should be. So now I can bring this piece down, move his head out of the way just a little bit, just enough to tuck that in, bring that in, push that windshield down, and then give this a push till it clicks like that. And now what you've done is you've gotten everything tucked away back there. So now you just align those arms up to those slots, and then you just bring that in. Make sure that you have those slots and tabs aligned right there. And then you're going to just push that in. So let me get mine aligned. Give those a push on either side. All right. And then you have the chest completed. So if he's out like that a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. You're just going to push that right in. So now you should have everything all pushed in together and compacted up pretty nicely. So now we're still going to pretend that his face is there. So now you can just take those arms, swing those arms down, swing them out like this, and then bring those hands out, and then you've got one arm done. So swing those arms down, bring those out, and I guess I should show this and not just assume you know. There's a little notch right here, so just get your fingernail on that and pull his fist out with that little notch. And there you have the arms done. So the last thing that we need to do, again, assuming he had a face, is just take these handles and push those handles down out of the way. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put his face back on. Hi! I don't know what that impression was, but there you go. So now, now you have Wreck-Gar in his robot mode, ready to go destroy Unicron, kill the Grand Poobah. And while we're here, let's go ahead and just arm him up. And now he is all set and ready to go. So let's go ahead and get into those robot mode comparisons. Alright, so for our first robot mode comparison, here we have the Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar next to the Power of the Primes Wreck-Gar, and I think we have a winner. It's him. So, yeah, definitely the superior figure here. Next up, we have the Transformers Prime RC. Next up is the Studio Series 86 Blur. Here is the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. Here we have the Studio Series 86 Cup, saying, of course, the Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninibong. And for a quick 1986 movie comparison, family photo, whatever you want to call it, here you go. These are all the Studio Series 86 or Kingdom figures that originated from the 86 movie or played prominent roles in it so far that have been released at the time of this recording. So there you go. Alright guys, that's it for the robot mode comparison, so let's go ahead and get into those final thoughts. Alright guys, so my final thoughts on the Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar, they're pretty simple. If you find him, I highly recommend that you pick him up. I mean, this figure is a lot of fun. Of course, it's Wreck-Gar. You know, who doesn't love Wreck-Gar from the movies, right? But this is the figure, mainline figure, that we've been waiting for to represent Wreck-Gar. He looks great in robot mode. I think that motorcycle mode, there's just something about it that is really, really fun and really cool. I love his spinny murder axe of death and whatever you want to call it, his melee weapon, and the overall feel, the quality of this figure is good. I mean, this is what we've come to expect from the Studio Series 86 or the Siege line. So this feels like a robust figure. All the joints on him are tight, and he's highly articulated. There's very little that I have a problem with on this figure. I mean, definitely not in the articulation. I think the articulation is great. You know, could it have been slightly more expanded in certain points? Yeah, I guess it would have been nice to have had, you know, beyond 90 degrees on those elbows and on those knees. But even with the 90-degree limitation, he's still really articulated, and you can get him in some great dynamic poses. I think that, you know, there are a couple of hollow areas, as I mentioned earlier in the review. It would have been nice if they would have had panels on the forearms to cover those hollow areas up when the fists fold in. But I have very little to complain about on this figure. He's just fun. You know, I mean, he's Voyager sized, so, you know, in his vehicle mode, he does not scale at all with anything else in the line. But I mean, rarely do we get that lucky, right? So, but this bot mode is amazing. You know, I guess I would, you know, backing up a little bit, his face falls off. That's not anything that I can't fix with just a little dab of glue if I want to do that, or, you know, just something to thicken that post up so I can still take the face off later if I want to. So I don't even consider that an issue. I almost consider that a feature because I have so much fun with it. But yeah, I have very little that I'm unhappy about on this figure. So, you know, that being said, just wrapping it up, because otherwise I'm just sitting here saying the same thing. I recommend this figure. I think that if you can find him, pick him up. This was a pre-order from Big Bad Toy Store, so it was $31.99 US on Big Bad Toy Store. The nice thing was, it wasn't supposed to come for another couple of months, and I get this email notification out of the blue that says, hey, he's on his way. So I couldn't have been more happy about that. But yeah, I know he's going to start showing up in stores soon. And, you know, if there is still availability on Big Bad Toy Store or TF Source or any of those other places, get your order in and get him. I don't think you're going to regret it. He definitely complements the rest of the line. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap up the review. As I always say, you know, be sure to like, hit that subscribe button, leave us some comments, let us know what your thoughts are. And, you know, I mentioned in one of the previous reviews that Sid has started a TikTok channel, and he's doing some tech deck stuff and some Hot Wheels stuff over there, just a little side project, something that he wanted to kick off. So I will have the screen name in TikTok, or the username, in this the end of this review right here. So if you guys want to go check that out, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you know, check us out on Facebook. If you use Rumble, check us out there. And with that, guys, we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.